Hey Lauren, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent. Tell people out there about your movie Cinderella's Revenge.
Yeah, it's the modern day twisted
Hmm.
version of Cinderella. So it's got all of the same beauty and kind of princessy vibes that the original storyline has. But it's also got the twisted ending that nobody ever really knew they wanted until it happened, and actually probably shouldn't happen, but did. It's really exciting, and yeah, it's a fun adaptation of Cinderella.
Okay, oh lovely. Yeah, it's true. Some things, some different, some Jesus Christ. Some different turns are made, some different decisions are made, and we get what we get. It's something else. What's it like to be see everyone dressed up in costume on set like that? What's that like on a day-to-day?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, like I quite liked being in the rags, like being all dirty and in the cinders. But it was really nice to see that kind of it's kind of like the regal dresses and the beautiful makeup and the beautiful hair, and
Right.
like some of the girls had wigs on, and to see all of that was it was so fun, and it felt like it felt like I was watching the movie as well, because we was in such beautiful locations and everybody was so good at their jobs. Everyone was so good at acting and bringing their characters to life. And the costumes just they topped it off. They were perfect. And I really enjoyed like dressing up as Cinderella, but also getting really dirty as her and having like blood and gore on me. And yeah, I enjoyed all of my costumes.
Do you ever like forget you're in the year 2024 or 2023, whenever you shot this?
Yeah, so when they started bringing in like talking about Tesla and Louboutin, I was really
What?
in the zone where I was like, what? We just spent a week like back in with no electric. How is this happening now? And because we was in such old, beautiful historic buildings where we was filming, it felt so like the outside world, the reality of 2023 felt so far away from where we was.
That's funny. So you've acted in a lot of horror movies. Why do you enjoy that particular genre?
What? Why or what do I enjoy? Sorry, what do I enjoy?
Why do you like horror movies?
Why do I've always liked horror movies. Since a young age, I grew up with two brothers, and my dad and my two brothers used to force me to watch The Grudge. So I always used to watch, and zombies. We was watching zombies like every bloody day. So
Ah,
I always grew up on horror movies, and like if I was gonna go to the cinema, I'd want to go and watch a horror. I want to be scared and like excited on the edge of my seat. So I've always loved watching horror, and then
yeah,
I started getting into acting in horrors, and
right.
now I love watching the way that the film is made, and I'm watching the horror movie, I'm like, oh, that's how they shot this, and we could do this in this film. And I love bringing that into it as well, bringing what I've seen and all of this history of watching horror movies. I love bringing it into the movies that I do, and
Yeah,
I just love like the characters as well in the horror movies. I feel like they're so different to like a rom-com or
right.
action.
That must be fun. Do you ever sit like since because you've made a lot of horror movies, and now that you have seen how they've been made, do you revisit some of these movies with your family and view it differently now?
Yeah, my family, I think I drive them insane because they're like, can you stop? You're ruining the magic. But for me, as watching it as an actor, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I know how they film that, or I know that that's just makeup there. Now I'm not even scared. None of these films are scaring me anymore. So I actually really like it when I get lost in a horror film and I don't think about all of this stuff. I find them the best ones. But my family get annoyed with me now if we revisit horror films or watch new horror films. They're like, can you just not talk? Not tell us about how
Yeah.
this is filmed. I want to get in the zone.
That's fun. That's cute. So tell me, what was a memorable on-set moment for Cinderella's Revenge?
Definitely. So throughout the filming process, we was obviously, as you do in film sets, we're filming everything like in different orders. So we had like crazy orders, like we'd film like the last one of the last scenes first and
Mhm.
whatever. It's all mixed up. But on the final scene of filming, it was actually one of the final moments in Cinderella's kind of revenge plot where she kills the stepmother, and that was our final scene. And like the whole way leading up to that, I was using all of the energy and all of the like emotion that had been building up this last few weeks in filming, and I put everything into that scene. And when we finished it, everyone was like, that's a wrap, and like everyone was clapping, and it was just so great to, yeah, it was such a great, like, that was definitely the most memorable part of filming for me.
Question again. So
Yeah,
what's the
perfect.
most rewarding thing for you about acting, generally speaking?
Yeah, I love bringing a character to life. I love feeling emotions that you don't get to feel in your day-to-day life, like feeling things so intensely that you'd never go through these kind of circumstances in your day-to-day life, and then bringing that to life and bringing what I see in movies as well and taking that on board and using that. I love feeling, so I love feeling things intensely in different ways and just bringing these different stories to life.
Very nice. What do you think about method acting? Is that something you do? Is that something you've thought about doing?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, method acting. I try to do it as much as I can. Like I try to really put myself into a situation before I go on set. Like for example, in Cinderella, I was constantly listening to the Cinderella songs, and like I was living my life by the her quote, which is be kind to all animals, no matter how big or small. I was literally living my life by these things and listening to the music all the time. I think it's a really great way of doing it. And for me, I like doing that. And I also just like just going with the flow of filming and just putting myself in the moment. With the films that we do, what I do quite regularly, they're all quite got tight schedules, so they're all quite fast paced, and sometimes you don't get a chance to do your method acting. So in I've had to adapt the way that I act and the way that I just take things on board so quickly, and you learn your script. You haven't got much time to learn. Sometimes I get cast in films at like 2 or 3 days before, and I've got a huge script to learn. So and then you're filming like you can film like 15 scenes a day. It's crazy how fast paced some of these films can be. So I like using all different kind of acting techniques. I really like method, but I use all different ones.
Very cool. Who would be the coolest co-star in your mind?
Other than Natasha, she was pretty cool. I loved working with Natasha. She was such a great actor. But other than Natasha, I would say probably Margot Robbie. I love
Ooh.
Margot Robbie. Yeah, I think she's great. I think like Harley Quinn, oh my God, she absolutely smashes it. That was also one of my inspirations towards the end of this film. So
Oh.
definitely Margot Robbie.
Oh, Harley Quinn in just in general, or was there a particular movie that?
Yeah, so just you know in the start of the Joker where she's getting tortured and all of her trauma is the reason why she snaps and she just turns so crazy. That was what I was trying to go for at the start. I wanted to go for Harley
Oh.
Quinn. It actually headed in a kind of different direction. I kind of kept the sweetness of Cinderella, but still the crazy side. I would have liked to got more into that, more into how Harley Quinn is, and I would have loved to bring that into Cinderella more. I feel like I definitely could have, but it didn't go that way in
Well, you don't
this
want to do
specific film.
like shot for shot, you want to do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
kind of neat. That's kind of a fun story. What's the best thing about Cinderella's Revenge? What does it have going on?
I like the best thing for me is that she gets her revenge finally, like after all these years. How many years has it been when we watched the stepsisters and the stepmother bully her,
Right.
practically bullying her, and now finally she gets her revenge. So for me, I'm like, yes, girl, you get this. You know, in a horror film where they don't pick up the gun, I'm like, pick up the gun. Why do you not pick up the gun? And like in this one, she picks up the gun. So that's what I
Oh,
like.
that's nice. Do you like watching yourself in your own movies? Is that something you do?
No, I'm not like the biggest fan of watching myself, to be honest. I feel like we're
I
all
don't
our
think anyone
own
is.
worst
Yeah.
critic. No, yeah. We're all our own worst critic. I watch and I think, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that and I could have
Yeah.
done this better. But at the end of the day, like we do what we do, and some of these films are so fast paced. You got to give it your all, and as
Oh
long
yeah.
as you do that, that's the main thing. But yeah, answering your question, not the biggest fan.
I feel
Unless
like
I know that I've done it good, I'm like, okay, I'll watch that one.
why I constantly ask this question, I guess, and I constantly get the same response, is I feel like maybe people should watch their own movies, as uncomfortable as it would be. Don't you think you would learn something? Wouldn't it be
Oh
a
yeah,
constructive
definitely.
exercise? It'd be uncomfortable.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, when I watch back my films, I'm like, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. And then
Yeah.
in the next one, I'll take it with me and we'll learn from it. I think it's the with even with kickboxing when I was a kickboxer, everything I've done, I watched myself to see what I could improve on or where I'm kind of stepping out of line. And I think it's the same with acting. That's why people do acting classes and they film them and they get it sent back. It's probably one of the best ways to learn actually, to improve.
Heck yes. All right, Laura. Thanks so much for your time. What's next for you?
Next, I just filmed a tsunami film based in London,
Ooh.
so that was my next thing. That's finished now, and wrapped that one. And next, I'm going to come out to America soon, actually, and go
Ooh.
to some conventions for Cinderella, which is
Oh,
really
that's
fun. I'm super
fun.
excited for that. Yeah.
What are the conventions?
I've just done, I think it's TerraCon. I've just had my contract through that for that, sorry. And
Okay.
I've got a few more, but I think they're only sending the contracts once the film's released. So I'm just still waiting
I
for them
see.
ones.
We're still
Yeah,
working on the paperwork. Okay, we don't want to screw that up. All right. Well,
exactly.
thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Thank you.